Good evening, viewers. My name is Himba Malambo and welcome to Ubuntu. This is your favorite program, Nsaka. With me in the studio, I'm with Evangelist Shaabula, and my co-host is Lancy Sanibanda, who will be joining us soon. I welcome you once again to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Evangelist Shaabula, how has been your weekend? How has been your weekend, your week, coming down up to today, Thursday?
My weekend was great. I had a lot of activities to do. You know, whilst I'm a counselor, I'm also a farmer.
Wow.
I've been harvesting maize and also harvesting soya beans.
Wow.
And they kept me very, very busy. And also on Saturdays, that is the Sabbath, I go to church. It also keeps me busy. And then I also have hours, time to be with my wife. I need to be with my wife. I also need to be with my children. I also need to be with my workers. And then from there, I also have to be with the community on ZNBC, Radio 4. And also I have to be with this great family, Ubuntu channel. And I must say that my time is always busy, always busy.
Wow, wow, wow. That is fantastic, Evangelist Shaabula. That is fantastic. It's nice to hear that you really had a busy...
And Himba, mind you, exercising also in the morning.
Wow, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. Evangelist Shaabula, our topic this evening is effective communication in a marriage or in a relationship. We want to talk about how people engage in different levels. What do you have to say, and what do you have this evening for us?
Thank you so much. The topic that we have today, Himba, it is just as good as talking about life without blood, life without oxygen. Because when there's no communication in a relationship between a husband and wife, between boyfriend and girlfriend, then there is no activity. There will not be any development. There will not be any there will not be any interaction. When there's no interaction, it means the relationship is dead. And when it is dead, it is only good to be thrown out of the window into the dustbin. So because of the importance of this topic, I'm going to Yes, I was saying, because of the importance of this program, I'm going to be slow in my presentation so that people are able to get me clearly, and then we move together. First of all, Himba, are you able to get me?
Yes, I am, Evangelist Shaabula.
Okay. I will try by all means to define what communication is. Communication is the ability to exchange information through words, through messages, and through non-verbal actions. Now, and then in the end, there should be feedback. There should be feedback to show that this message was received, was understood, or was acted upon. So that is communication. When you just say something and there's no feedback, there's no response, then it means you have not communicated. Communication is two-way, forward and backward. When that is done, it means we've communicated. Now, we must understand that in any relationship, there must be communication. In bad times or in good times, there should be communication. We should be able to explain why we are doing what we are doing. We should be able to explain why we are not doing what we are not doing, or why we are not doing what we are supposed to be doing, or why we've said what we have said, or why we've failed to say what we should have said, or why we are quiet, or why things are happening the way they are happening. Now, in communication, a great deal of success and failure directly depend on the quality of communication. If you are going to succeed in your relationship, in your marriage, it's all about how you are communicating in that relationship. Good communication makes you feel accepted and also understood, while deficient communication causes disappointment and misunderstanding. Communication, Himba, is particularly important in interpersonal relationship. What do I mean by this? That is between families, between husband and wife, between boyfriend and girlfriend. It's important. Between friends, it's important. Between neighbors, it's important. Between colleagues, it's important, and etc., etc. Communication is important. The words we pronounce, Himba, the words we pronounce and listen to end up carrying pleasure or pain. What you say will either bring pleasure or pain. It will bring security or insecurity. It will bring closeness or rejection. It will bring encouragement or sadness. What we say can build or can destroy, can bring together or can scatter. So we need to be very careful in the way we speak. And beyond words, there are other messages deeply affecting others. And outside this, such as looks, we call these non-verbal. Just the way you look at your friend, you'll be communicating a message. Your gestures, like the way I'm talking with the hands flying in the air. I'm trying to communicate a message that what I'm saying here is important. And also the tone of the voice is also communication. You are communicating through using the tone of your voice to stress a point. All this is another way of communication. We must understand that these words can build or destroy. And many marriages, Himba and Lawrence, have been brought down by the way we speak, the way we behave, the gestures we make, the tone of our voices. All these, they have caused pain or pleasure, security or insecurity, misunderstanding or we've been understood. Now, this evening, I'm going to discuss two things. Lawrence, two things. Himba, two things. I'm going to talk about how to speak and how to listen. Two things. Are you able to get me? Lawrence,
Yes, Evangelist.
are you there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Himba, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you able to get me?
Loud and clear.
Are you able to get me?
Yes, Evangelist. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Oh, you can hear me? Yeah, because the namba kubeba, ni beba manje na beba. I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about speaking. I'll talk about speaking and I'll talk about listening.
Evangelist ati bambobeba Lawrence bafuna batiuze kumvera nokamba tibalindira.
Waiting for that.
We are waiting. I'm sure he's got a lot for us in store. As much as we are in these relationships, we should also learn to understand that Lawrence kukambisana ni kwa bwino. My picture no sound siya masebenza. I don't know what you think. What's your take on that?
Actually, the success, like he has put it, actually, I very much agree with him. The success of a relationship actually depends on how the quality of communication you have in that relationship. Very important. And actually, this for me, I've even written it down. I've written it down because I don't want to forget this for this point.
There are a lot of ways of communication. Uziwaka. Sometimes ni kuichaira kuchiba kuchite notice. Sometimes in body language. Oh, Evangelist is back. Was that Vera? Evangelist, welcome back.
Yes.
Over to you.
Thank you so much. I said this evening I'm going to talk about the two things: how to speak and how to listen. Look at me. God created me with one mouth for me to speak. But God increased my makeup here by giving me 2 ears. And the reason is that God wants me to speak less and listen more by having 2 ears. In a relationship or in a marriage, we are expected to speak less, but to listen more. The problems and difficulties we find in our marriages and the relationships emanate from failure to listen. Two people who will have points, they want to talk about something. In the first place, they will begin arguing and not discussing. And to them, they will be saying, yes, we are communicating. Yes, you are communicating something that is not good. Now, this is how to speak. 1, all the time, watch your words. The words, watch them. Use kind and respectful words. Clearly pronounce words correctly. Sometimes even the way we speak, you want to mispronounce words. Your friend will misunderstand you because of the way you speak. So use kind and respectful words. If you respect your friend, you will use kind words. If you have no respect for your friend, you will use any word that comes out of your mouth without thought, without thinking. It is sometimes best to be quiet. If you are not sure, be quiet so that you don't offend. If possible, postpone the conversation until a better moment. Postpone that conversation until a better moment. When you want to speak, please, Himba, Lawrence, and everyone listening, organize what you want to say. Organize yourself. If possible, write down what you are going to speak about. Organize yourself so that you know the direction you are going to take. Use kind words, not hurting words. Again, watch your words. Watch your tone or the tone of your voice. The tone of your voice will scare your friend or will cause your friend to fight back. It will cause them to hit back. So the tone of your voice will tell a story about you and your intentions or the intentions of the discussion. Avoid using words such as always, you always do this, you always do this, or you never do this, you never do this. You promise things you can't do. You can't promise this and that. You know, you always cheat me, you always do what and what. Those words, they are a seed that you are sowing in the heart and the mind of your colleague or your partner. They should never be used. The other words is when you are talking to your friend, use praise. Praise, see something good in your friend. When you say a kind word or something that is good, you are actually inviting that person to talk more. To listen more and then work with you. Then from there, when you know things are not okay as husband or wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, please apologize. Apologize. Say sorry. Say sorry. Lawrence, say after me, sorry.
Sorry, Evangelist, sorry.
Lawrence, I want you to learn to say sorry. It's important to apologize. It is respect that you give to your friend, and it is actually you are bringing them to yourself to say, you are a friend of mine and you mean something, you are important in my life. If you fail to say sorry, you are saying, who are you to me? You are useless. I don't need you. Then from there are times when something is said, do not be quick to say yes or to say no. Know what you mean by saying yes. Know what you mean by saying no. The other point, when something has happened, explain your position to your friend so that your friend will know what is happening. And also offer alternatives. Offer alternatives. Offer alternatives in whatever you are discussing. You can say, okay, there's this thing, but we can also do this thing in this way. Offer alternatives. And finally, do not argue. Do not argue with the person you are talking to. Don't argue. That is talking to that person. And then from there, as you are talking, don't lose your temper. Losing your temper will spoil the soup. Don't lose your temper. Now, I'm going to talk about how to listen. How to listen. The first and most important item in any exchange of communication is to listen. Listening, not talking. 2 ears. Listen. Consider the following tips to increase your listening ability. I want you to listen so that you can increase your listening ability. 1, find support in non-verbal language. You know, a lot of us, even when we speak, there's a lot of non-verbal language that comes out more than our words. Somebody can say, I love you, but look into the eyes. Are you able to see love in the eyes? When they say, I love you, they are looking in the other direction. ask yourself, is he sure? Is he sure? So you need to be very, very careful. The other issue is consider taking care of your posture. When somebody is talking to you, look at how you are seated. You can't just sink into the chair. Your wife is talking to you and you are reading a newspaper or you are watching a game on TV, but she's talking to you. That is rudeness. Lawrence, that is rudeness. Lawrence say rudeness.
Rudeness.
Yeah, it's rudeness for you not to check your posture. Then your looks, the way you look at your wife, the way you look at your husband, the way you look at your boyfriend or your girlfriend will tell that you are not listening or you've belittled them. Just your looks. When you are listening, your look should show that you are enjoying the talk and that you are contributing. As she is talking to you, as he is talking to you, give a smile. Smile. You don't lose anything by smiling. Just a small smile, a short smile will show that you are listening and you are working with her. And it is important to nod your head. When she strikes a point, agree with her to say, I think, honey, you are right there. Probably I misunderstood you in this area. Nod your head. Avoid the distractions. Avoid distractions when your friend is talking to you. Reject thoughts or problems which are not related to the conversation. You want to start thinking about the football. You want to start thinking about something. Somebody is talking to you. Those are distractions. Or you want to say, no, just let me tell you. No, I've got this point. First nikambeko pangono, last pangono. No. Those are distractions. In communication, that is not allowed. Then from there, maintain your attention. As somebody is talking to you, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, you must be at attention. What I mean by attention, let your look show that you are listening attentively. And finally, ask for clarification. If you are not sure about anything that has been said, before you begin answering, ask for clarification. If you have not understood, ask for clarification. If you are in doubt, ask for clarification. Speak with simplicity so that your friend is able to get what you are talking about. Now, you must confirm. There are certain times when you need to confirm. Confirm what you have heard. For instance, you are telling me, hey, honey, are you telling me that I need to return to my family or to whatever the situation is unbearable? Is that correct? Then somebody will tell you, yes or no, I didn't say that. In other words, confirm what you've heard so that there's no tug of war in your speech. The other point, make eye contact. Look at the person. Don't look on the sides. Find out the feeling of the other person. Sometimes you can ask, with this that has happened, how do you feel? Let them tell you how they feel. If they are not happy, they will tell you, I'm not happy or I'm disappointed, whatever it is. Then from there, offer your help if possible. See what you can do to bring a solution to this. When this is done, you'll find that your issues in the home will be discussed. You'll not be saying, okay, let's see a chabeji, let's see a chabapa. It's because you don't know how to discuss. For today, I end here and I invite comments and questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Shaabula. That was very rich. That was fantastic information. Now, Evangelist Shaabula, I've got two specific questions. The first one is, at what point do a couple has to develop effective communication skills between the two of them? Then secondly, there are couples that have got a habit of communicating. Amafoni yanabwera. Mungapeza vintu vachitika between the two of them. They will decide to go on picture, no sound. Then they start communicating with my messages. Batumirana uleyo chanya mlembera mzake na my messages. What is your reaction, Evangelist Shaabula?
At what point does a husband and wife begin to effectively? It is actually from the time they are boyfriend and girlfriend.
It looks like
effective communication from the time they are boyfriend and girlfriend. They need to do that. Secondly, communicating through messages. Communicating through messages. You are living together in one home, and then you decide to begin communicating through messages. Your wife is in the kitchen, you are in the sitting room. Honey, there's no tomato here. And the gentleman will respond, the market is already closed. Or sometimes the gentleman does not even check to see your message. He doesn't know whether you have sent a message or not. So which means that he is going to miss that message.
All right. It seems we have lost the evangelist there due to network challenges. All the same, we continue with the program as you await for him. Himba, you are asking at what point a couple should develop effective communication skills. Rightly put by the evangelist himself. Before you even get married, you should know how to talk to your partner, how to handle them, the weaknesses, the strengths. I think it's very important that actually these are things that we need to find out as we date or as we go into courtship and all that. So how do you look at it? A couple goes into marriage and they have a first big problem and they can't communicate. Himba, what do you think happens in that case?
Lawrence, we're in a situation where we have evangelists.
Yes, I was saying, if you communicate through messages, that there is no cooking oil in the kitchen, and your wife is in the kitchen, and the gentleman is watching football in the sitting room. Sometimes there is a likelihood that the gentleman may not see your message. And because he has not seen the message, the cooking oil will not be bought. And on that day, you are going to miss the cooking oil. You will not have cooking oil for your relish or for your cooking. So it is important for you to communicate face to face. And also it shows that you care for each other and you respect each other. It should not be messages. You can only send a message when she's at work and you are also at work, and probably you are not able to talk. You can send a message. It is acceptable. Not in the house. It's not allowed. It is wrong.
Okay.
Another question.
Yeah, surely speaking. Evangelist.
Yes.
Situations whereby you find one person in the relationship finds it a challenge to communicate with the partner because of probably historic issues that may have happened. What I mean is, here is someone who, let's say, here is a man who had at some point wronged his wife, and after they reconcile, the wife makes a similar mistakes, and when he tries to correct her, says, naimwe ndeva mine mumachita naimwe. Is this not what you do as well? You did this, you remember last year, this is what you did. 2 years ago, you did this and this and this and this. What is your comment on such occurrences in relationships or marriages?
It is actually an indication of a premature marriage. It is a premature marriage. It means those people, they got married before they could understand what marriage is, and also they could mature in dealing with the issues of marriage. When you begin referring to all the issues which were settled some time back, it is just as good as going back to the graveyard to go and dig all the bones of a dead man and start, telling somebody that this is your uncle who died and they are bringing bones to you. So that way you are actually creating problems for yourself. That is a reason you are arming somebody so that you can fight, because the other person will also want to defend himself. Instead of progressing and sorting out a problem, you begin attacking each other instead of attacking a problem which is at hand. So in the marriage, in the relationship, we don't attack each other. We attack the problem which is in our hand. So let us learn to attack a problem that is in our hand. And once we have attacked it, we have dealt with it, it must be forgotten and move ahead, because there are other problems ahead of us that are still coming, which we need to work together to sort them out. So if we begin going in reverse, then when are we going to get into the future?
Actually, Evangelist, in a similar vein, I think this is quite similar, where one of the two raises an issue to say, I'm not happy with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the wife comes, or maybe the husband comes out and says, actually, I'm also not happy with J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. So more or less like one party raises an issue without knowing that the other party also has got issues they are harboring, and when one party raises an issue, the other party feels that's the very best opportunity to also raise their concerns, and in the end, it appears both parties are guilty of something. I think I would also want to get a comment on that.
Lawrence, I'm sure at school you did what is called the simultaneous equation. Simultaneous equation.
You still remember?
You know, when you are sorting out a simultaneous equation, they will tell you that the 2 down here cancels the 2 up there. When we are dealing with simultaneous equation. In marriage, there's nothing like simultaneous equation. When your friend raises an issue, it means that issue is for discussion, and you must discuss it intelligently together and find a solution together which is going to affect both of you. When you find a person or a lady or a gentleman who wants to counterattack by bringing another issue, by bringing another problem in order to quench off the raised concerns, then it just shows that this person is not mature, or if not, he has no respect for the colleague. He wants to dilute whatever has been brought so that he continues in that path, which should not happen. In marriage, there's no competition. Whereas we don't compete. If one person loses in marriage, you both lose. If one person wins, you both win. So we should work towards winning all the time. When your friend goes down, it's our responsibility, it's my responsibility to lift my colleague that has gone under. So this is what happens in marriage. It is not competition. If you want to compete, go and join COSAFA or FIFA. Then you can go there and compete. But in marriage, no. It's a journey of two people, of two equals.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Shaabula. Actually, such statements, they start like, chua milagalu kuluma mbuzi, mwaibala imwe mailo. Don't respond to that, Evangelist. At this point in time, may I have the privilege to invite CJ. After CJ, Lawrence, may you please read the questions from our viewers. CJ, over to you.
Good evening, Evangelist. Good evening, Himba, Lawrence, and the viewers.
CJ, good evening. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. My question is a short one. How do you handle a wife like Himba, who is always winning? Every argument she wants to win. How do you communicate with such a person? Sama uluzako evya. Thank you.
That's a nice one.
Oh my God, I'm in trouble today. Evangelist, before Evangelist comes in, let's have Rollins and Shaabula will respond to a troublesome wife, Himba. Rollins, over to you.
I think I'm asking for messages if we have any in our inbox. Okay. Josephine Kalengo is asking, is actually saying it is bad manners to make reference when having conversations in marriage or in a relationship. Matured people should learn to listen to each other and find solutions together. Never bring your past in your present life to attack your partner. Thank you so much, Josephine, for that. We appreciate.
Excellent.
Josephine also goes on to say 50-50 is wrong in marriage. You are not in a competition. Much appreciated for that. Wow.
Correct.
It's Josephine again. Anger should not be used as a defense mechanism. When you are wrong, accept and apologize, then move on together.
Wonderful. Josephine, you better be a counselor.
Ruben Jerome is saying, say it right, rudeness. I think he's making reference to some gestures that you are being mentioned here. Thank you so much, Caroline, for joining us. And you are saying this is interesting. Indeed, it is. Thank you so much. We appreciate your viewership.
Yes.
Any other messages? I like this. This is interesting. Thank you so much, Caroline. We appreciate that. Kina Alicia says, powerful. Powerful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think, Evangelist, you can go on and answer CJ's question. I think probably we are done with messages from our inbox.
A wife who wants to win all the time. I think it's a good attitude to wanting to win. Who wants to lose? No one wants to lose. But those that want to win an argument, in most cases, they lose good relationship, but win the argument. They do not only lose because they will be fighting and quarreling. Not only do they lose peace, they also lose the marriage. Because no man would want to be a tail in the discussion all the time. It is a sign of not respecting a husband if the husband will always be trailing behind the wife. There are certain times when a wife should actually be lenient to this slow-thinking husband. Sometimes allow him to be a man. Allow him to lead. support him and help him. And if you are with the people, you should be able to say, actually, what my husband is saying is this, this, and this, and this.
It looks like we've lost Evangelist. A partner who always wants to win a fight or a discussion, in most cases, for me, such a partner, that is defensive mechanism. Most of the times, Lawrence, there's something that partner is hiding. Could it ever be, sir? You know, and whatever they are hiding, they always want to be argumentative. They don't have a listening ear. At the end of the day, they end up they even pretend, if it is a female partner, they will cry. If it is a male partner, they will start even dragging your parents into an argument. They'll start into that discussion. They'll start even dragging your sisters. Most of the time, just because they want to win. And in the struggle to win an argument, there's now using of strong words, strong language. There's abusive language, because you're trying to win, and for you to win that argument, definitely, or that discussion, you have to be strong. And for you to be strong, you have to be intimidative. I'm your husband, because there's something this person is hiding. Because there's something they are hiding. We've got Lance who've just joined us in the studio. Over to you, Lance. Let's see what you have to say. Hi, Lance.
Good evening, Lance. Are you with us?
Yes, good evening, Lawrence. And
I'm back.
Good evening.
I am back. Here I am. I'm back.
Welcome back, Evangelist.
Yes. I was saying, normally, a good wife should be should be able to allow the husband to lead. When you allow your husband to lead, you are actually showing him respect.
Evangelist, I'm becoming uncomfortable. Why is it's a good wife? I think where there's wife, let's put partner. There are also men who behave like that.
Exactly, you're right. I totally agree with you. My apology. My apology. Yes. When one of the partners wants to lead, it's true, there are also men that wants to take over, and lead. When you do that, in most cases, the other person will get into the shell. They'll be scared to say anything because this one, this, that, so they'll keep quiet. And in the end, you win the discussion. You have won the discussion, but you have not won your husband to yourself. You have not won your wife to yourself. So the gap will remain yawning, meaning that you'll be living together and yet detached from each other on account of maybe it was just how it was just maybe either should we buy a car or should we buy a house. Then you separate forever. So it is important also to consider, check where you came from. The last discussion that you had, it is you who won the discussion. So this time, why not give it to your friend so that they also feel that they can lead. They can feel that they're also great in thinking and also in expression. So when we do that, we'll actually be helping each other. And that's the way to go.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Shaabula. Over to you, Lance. Okay, CJ, then we'll go to Lawrence.
Okay, so Evangelist, I'll
Yes, sir.
kind of turn the question a bit. What of a situation whereby whenever vintu vikaruana mzako hata mangiro kamba sorry, hata mangiro kamba sape sorry, then abweza hapo futi. Your situation here, how do you handle with it? Hata mangiro kamba sorry, but futi sa change, sa punzira.
Yeah, we have two kinds of people. we've got those that are quick to say sorry, and we've got those who don't say sorry. And then the third group is those who say sorry at the right time and genuinely. Now, let's deal with those that are quick to say sorry. Sometimes the idea is to shut you up. So that is why they don't change, because they don't understand and they don't see the consequences of their actions. As a result, they repeat the mistake because they didn't learn. The number two, those that do not apologize, they don't say sorry. They also don't learn. They're just as good as those who say sorry quickly. They don't say sorry because they don't see anything wrong, and they've no respect for you. And so they don't want to change. They want to remain the same. So those are in the same group. There are those that say sorry at the right time and they even change. Now, those who say sorry and they change, that is how a marriage should be. We should learn from our past mistakes so that we are able to move properly in the future without repeating those mistakes. Because mistakes are there for us to learn from. Mistakes are not there for us to repeat. Not at all. The other point is that when we are living with our husband or our wives, we should not be in a hurry to see them change. Because change does not come in a day. Change does not come in a month. It comes over several years to come. You see where I am here. I'm married, but I still make mistakes I made so many years ago when I married my wife. Up to now. Sometimes in my very, very old times or days, maybe that's when I'll stop doing that. Sometimes I'll die with my weakness. So that is why in marriage, you need to have a heart for your colleague, a heart for your friend. If you don't want to marry a weak person, marry angels. Marry an angel. But angels are men. Angels are men. So you can't marry a fellow man. So you must understand that even you, who does not want to forgive your friend, you also have weaknesses. As human beings, we need to be kind to each other. We should not rush people into changing before even we ourselves we have changed. How does my wife come to ask me to quickly change when she has not also changed here and there? But I will not tell her to say, don't ask me to change because you have not changed. No, I'll just take it to my heart and say, well, my wife wants me to change. For me, I need to change. So that I set an example to her that it is possible to change from wrong to right. And when you set a good example, especially for a man, then you are telling your wife that I love you. Because by changing is a sign that you love somebody. If you insist in a wrong direction, it means you have no respect for that person and you don't love them and you don't care. And probably you are also you are also down.
Oh.
Yes. It's like a parent that listen, Himba. It's like your child is learning to walk or to stand. Then you begin rushing your child. You lift him and make him stand. He falls. You lift him, make him stand. You lift him. You push him to run. People to think you are cruel. You are a cruel person because no child will learn to walk in a day or run in a day. It is one step at a time. What did I say? One step at a time. Even in changing, for us to change, it is one step in 10 years. Another step in 20 years.
There are partners who would say, okay, go ahead, Lawrence.
All right, thank you. Evangelist, there are people who just cannot say sorry. And sometimes you see in actions that, okay, this, you see it probably after a few days that this person is trying to communicate to me that they are sorry, but they'll just never say it to their face and say, okay, here I was wrong, I'm sorry. Every time you raise a point and tell them, here you did wrong, they rush into a defense kind of arrangement. And then when you let it go, you see it after some time and say, oh, this person actually looks like they understand they did wrong. What is your encouragement on that to those who may be going through?
Listen, Lawrence, I want you to listen to this. You are talking about people who do not accept that they are wrong. The problem may not be with them. It could be the problem with you who has seen what is wrong. It is the way you are communicating to that person. And that person is just giving you a feedback of how you have deposited in. It's garbage in, it's garbage out. So that is why it is important when we communicate, we should be able to communicate clearly, pronounce words properly, and simplify your thoughts and your language so that they understand. Sometimes it is an indication that they did not understand what you are talking about. So can you begin to speak? It's okay. Listen, yes. Sometimes you're a bad speaker. Sometimes you're a bad speaker. You don't know how to build a question or how to build the thoughts. So it is important that you also learn. It's important to change, systems. You try this system, it fails, try another system. And then in the end, you are going to find out which one works better for you. Then there are also those that do not want to change deliberately because they're just indisciplined. They have no respect for you. At times, you have done your best, but they do not want to change. Sometimes change will make them lose certain privileges. So they will not want to change. So, there must be some deep thinking. Examine the situation before you can make conclusions. So every situation, that is why in marriage, the Marriage Act for Zambia, the Marriage Act and the Constitution of Marriage Act Cap 50 of the laws of Zambia says that a person who gets married must be of 21 years age, because by that time the mind is ripe to handle such things. So sometimes it is not the wish of that person who does not apologize. It's you, a bad speaker. Sometimes you do things correctly, you speak nicely, but that person has no respect for you. So it is better that they change. If they want peace, if they want the marriage, if they want the relationship, change for the better.
So, Evangelist,
yes.
A practical advice, a situation whereby wamsokoneza mzako, you've offended your friend, then yankala picture no sound 2-3 days, waiserera tuma apology but mzako waoneka they are not buying into the apology. How can you break the ice?
Yeah, first of all, when you offend your friend, you should not expect them to forgive you there and then. No. You are a sinner. You must be punished. You are a wrongdoer. You must be punished. Don't expect them to forgive you there and then. If they are able to get a whip, they would have whipped you. But they will keep quiet in order to avoid unnecessary altercations, unnecessary fights, unnecessary quarrels, unnecessary words, careless words which should not be spoken. They will keep quiet. However, listen to me. However, keeping quiet for a long time is not a solution. Keeping quiet for a long time is not a solution. You are actually exaggerating the situation, and you are actually widening the gap of misunderstanding. And by widening the gap, you are creating a seat for the devil to sit in your home. So the Bible in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26 says, let not your anger lead you to sin, and don't let the sun to go down on your anger. Sort out the issue quickly and move on. So those people that keep, they've got a banker, a data bank, where they keep all the wrongs of the husband, all the wrongs of the wife. I'll tell them, destroy that data bank. It's not required in the marriage. Probably in your office, you need that for your work, but not in the marriage. In the marriage, we use our hearts and our wisdom. The Bible in Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3 says that a marriage is built by wisdom. Wisdom. If you are a foolish wife, you will lose your marriage. If you are a foolish husband, you will lose your wonderful wife and the children. Reason, you have no wisdom. So all those that plan to get married, before you plan to get married, get wisdom so that you can know how to handle a wife, so that you can know how to handle a husband. You know, a lot of you people, a lot of young people think that marriage is all about sex. What about the chickens? Even the chickens, they do have sex, but are they married? Even dogs, they have sex. Are they married? Cows, they have sex. Do they get married? Not at all. Sex is not about marriage, and marriage is not sex. But wisdom is what builds the marriage. Forgiveness, you forgive your wife, is what builds a marriage. Kindness builds a marriage. What you speak, your tongue, what comes out of your mouth, builds your relationship with your wife. And the same mouth destroys your marriage.
Thank you so much, Evangelist. I have 3 questions for you, and I would want you to react to those questions. Then, Lawrence, we should...
Let them come.
The first one is, there's a teaching which is very common, that their partners, especially the opposite sex, I'm not going to mention that sex, that those who find it difficult, ukulanda sorry, the best way to apologize is to have sex. How can somebody who is hate and have sex? Our opposite sex, they are told that. Secondly, there are partners who likes, whenever you have a conversation, they like going out to collect information. And whenever you have something to talk about in the house, you've got maybe a misunderstanding or an issue, they'll start bringing in, unaenda kubanzanga, unaenda kulibana kantwa. What advice do you have to such partners who like to collect information and bringing it in the house? Then the last one. Should I go ahead? The last one.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
The third one, Evangelist. It's you know, you are saying you have to appreciate when you're talking to your partner. You really have to appreciate. You have to say kind words to them. Apparently, there are men who believe the best way, or their partners who believe to communicate in Fulana Timba. So Pakun Timba, I don't know. How do you appreciate such a partner? Because even many, they are so in such a situation, how do you even appreciate your partner when you want to communicate? I end here, Evangelist.
Yes. The first question, men who believe that, sex can be a form of an apology. They believe that if they have sex, then it means the problem has been sorted out. That is the wrong conception. It's a misconception. Sex comes only after we've won the Africa Cup. It comes after Zambia has beaten Nigeria tomorrow, Friday. That's when it comes. You cannot have sex before you score 3 goals to 0. What am I talking about? What I'm saying is that this is a form of intimidation. You want to play on the mind of your friend to say, this is what I want. Sex is not about the actual act, but sex is in the mind. It is not in the nose. Himba. You can't find sex in the nose, but you can find sex in the mind. So when you do this to say, okay, we are going to have sex so that we can quench off that problem or delete that problem, you are not helping your friend. Because your friend will, of course, she will perform out of time and under duress. English. She is performing under duress. She is being forced. She is being coerced. And because she cannot defend herself, she will give in. And that sex is not sweet, it is bitter. Secondly, those people who collect information about their partner in the home, you are actually killing your own marriage because you are looking for weaknesses of your partner in the home so that you can fight them. That is ammunition to start shooting your husband or your wife. It is even not good for you to find out who is the boyfriend to your wife. It does not help you because you are going to have headaches. It is better not to know than to know. If you start scratching, you will find exactly what is happening. Keep a blind eye to some problems. That's why in English they say, let sleeping dogs lie. Some dogs are bulldogs, they will chew you. Some problems can destroy your marriage. Some problems can send your children in the street. Sometimes some problems can even cause you to hang yourself and die and leave your children behind. This is a very bad way of sorting out problems in the home. Going out collecting information, you become a journalist in the marriage. No. If you want to be paparazzi, go to Evangelist College and be trained there, but not in the marriage. Then there are those who you talked of beating. If you are beaten, then it's a sign that you are loved. This is an archaic practice, an old practice, which was performed by our grandparents who taught their friends, their relatives, that if your husband beats you, then he loves you. This reminds me of Jesus Christ, who said, you were told what was said in the time of Moses, but now I say. For me now I say, this is wrong. This is GBV, and GBV is a crime. It is an offense. Will send you to prison for inflicting pain on your wife, mentally, physically, economically. Will send you to prison. Mukazi suomenya. It is for you just to perform in the bed. Don't beat her. If you have failed to perform, then leave her. Don't beat her. I'm done, Himba. Next question.
Thank you so much, Evangelist. Over to you, Lawrence. Please, will you please read the comments? And if you have anybody who wants to come in the studio, please let them come in.
Okay. Director, do we have messages or do we have any studio guests? Okay. Josephine goes on to ask, when should someone say sorry? I think
when they are wrong, when they are wrong, when they are wrong, when they are wrong, they should say sorry. Next question.
Okay. I'll come back to that one. Land says, good evening, Evangelist and everyone else. My question this evening is as follows. What about partners, especially this other gender? There's the other gender that feels like a man should always be the one to communicate or start a conversation and keep it going. Thank you so much, Lance, for that. Yes. Do we have any other message? And how do you deal with a partner that always sounds as though they don't want to talk to you? Their tone in the voice does not suggest continuing with the conversation.
Let's answer this question. Let's answer this one. Let's answer this one.
Evangelist.
You know what? Sometimes we cause people not to talk to us. We are cold. We are not warm. You don't show sign of interest in what they are saying. And sometimes when they say, you want to interject, you want to interfere, you want to put your judgment and your position on the things that they want to tell you. So what do they do? They will keep quiet. They will shut up so that you who knows everything can lead. So that is why in my teaching I was saying, when the other person is talking, keep quiet, but open your ears. That way you are encouraging them to talk more. But if you begin interjecting and interfering, they will keep quiet. They will say, oh, no, let the wise man carry over. In the end, you have nothing to say because you didn't know what they wanted to say. Now, this one who says, Lance, who says men that should be talking and initiating whatever it is, it also goes to, men, there are certain men that wants to lead. You want to lead. You know it all. Your wife will say, oh, you know it all. Take over, carry over, go ahead. So every time there's anything, the wife will say, okay, Mr. I know it all. You say something. And you find that every time it is you, herself, she's just going through her Bible, reading, John 3, verse 16, for God so loved the world. She's even practicing. Then in the end, she'll start reciting, loudly, because what you are saying is rubbish. The issue here is that respect your mate. You respect your mate by listening, and listening with your heart. So it is important for us to also ask them about this. What do you think this is? In other words, you are saying, can you also say something? So find out their position about what you are talking about. When you do that, you find that both of you, you'll be talking to each other. And don't show them that what they are saying does not make sense. Sometimes you say, that language is not good because we are not gifted the same. There are some women that are very, very wise. So it does not mean that the gentleman is not wise, is foolish. No. Some people, they are not gifted, they are not orators. They are not speakers. They can't speak nicely, but their brains are in the best position. They can think straight and do things, but they may not be able to speak like Himba speaks. But they are intelligent. So you should not monopolize because the other person is not a talkative. No, not at all.
Right. Thank you so much for that response. I think I can go around if there are any final remarks because I think we've run out of time. Or is the director giving us some more time? Is the director giving us some more time?
It seems like the director.
Lawrence, don't we have
5 minutes?
Don't we have messages? Don't we have messages? Let others also ask questions.
Can we have some more messages? Can we have some more messages? Because this topic is very important in relationships and marriages. Communication is very essential and very vital. Okay, Lance come through again asking, there are women who are always in moods, Evangelist. It is not about knowing it all. You find that they are not even interjecting, but they just give you kajaka attitude. I think Evangelist is that kind of a situation where you are trying to have a conversation with someone and you ask them, what is your opinion? I don't know. What do you think about that? Anything is fine. Should we take it A or should it B? Whatever you decide is fine. I think that's the kind of attitude that is trying to talk about.
It's submission.
Yeah. You know what it is? You know what it is? When such a thing happens, check yourself. The problem may not be with your lady, with your partner. The problem could be you. You intimidate her sometimes. You do intimidate her. Sometimes you show her that she's not properly educated, but you are properly educated. Sometimes you want to show that you are courageous. She's not courageous. So she will let things happen before your nose to say, go and do them. And then you start now scampering and ask her, no, do this, do this. No. In a relationship, as I've said before, in a relationship, we're not competitors. We are not at all. We are not competitors. If you want to compete, we've got the big league. We've got COSAFA, as I said. So the issue in marriage, it is the partnership. Partnership. And we are all equals. 50-50. The husband is not 51, the lady is 49. Not at all. It is 50-50. You cannot have a child without the input of the wife. And you cannot have a child without the input of the husband. So it is 50-50. And everything that you do should always be 50-50. Discussion must be 50-50. Handling this and that is 50-50. Everything that you do must be 50-50. When we do that, our marriages will be happy and we shall always appreciate one another. One thing is that we don't see the value of the other person. What we think is that I can live and do without that person because I've got money. It is not money that marries. Those you people that are educated, it is not money. You know, even educated people, they get married. It is not money. Even uneducated people, they get married. It was designed by God. It is God who designed it. That even these people, they should get married. So let us respect the relationships that we have. Especially you young people. You think that, no, you are marketable. No, I'm marketable, I can easily find another person. Yes, you can find another person, but how many are you going to get? Because even the next person will not like your behavior. Then you will say, no, I can find another person. In the end, you have a chain of wives or a chain of husbands, which will not be good for you. You are going to have 4 children from 4 different men, which is not good. So stick to one that you have and work with that person. If there are weaknesses, work together, sort them out, and move forward.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Shaabula. Over to you, CJ.
Yeah. So, Evangelist, in a situation whereby there's poor communication in a relationship, you find that it might lead to frustration and things getting worse. At what point should a third party be involved, or is it necessary to involve a third party if you see things keep on deteriorating?
I think this is a very good question. CJ, that is a very, very good question. At what point do you involve a third party to come into your marriage, into your relationship, for the purpose of helping you? You know, first of all, only after you have discussed an issue many times. I didn't say 3-4 times. I said many times. 4 times is not many. It's not many. It is just a plural, but not many. Did you hear that, CJ? 4 times is just a plural. It is not many times. Only when you have had an issue many times. And 2, if you are to bring in a third party, you must discuss and agree that this is a thorny issue and it requires outside help. And then from there, agree which person you are going to invite to come into your marriage. Agree. After you've agreed, then you can sit there and discuss with whoever it is, because you are going to bring a person who both of you are comfortable with. Of course, there are certain times when somebody will not want to bring another person deliberately because he knows that he's at fault. Depending on the weight of the matter that you have, if it leads to serious consequences, it is better to bring somebody, even if the other person does not want, because you are trying to save the situation. And you must tell that person to say, you have refused counsel by what and what, but I think we need this help. In most cases, they will accept because they want to save the marriage. Only when they are not interested, then they will not move in.
Evangelist,
there's a message
there's a message that has come in from Caroline asking, first and foremost, she said, well-spoken evangelist. Now, what about a person who is always busy, always putting conversations to next day, the next that you rarely talk? That is someone who is always busy and pushing conversations to say, let's talk tomorrow because I'm busy. Let's talk at some other time because I'm busy, and you have got something that is pressing that you need the attention of your partner. What about that kind of a person? How do you deal with such kind of a person? That's the question coming in.
Okay. Pushing conversations to a later date. Pushing discussions to a later date. In the first place, it is important for you who wants a matter to be discussed to understand the career of that person, the work that person does. Understand. If you understand the nature of work that person does, it will help you to know how to handle that person. If you don't understand the career or the nature of work of that person, you will misunderstand that person and think that he is not interested in discussing the matter with you, because you are bringing a matter at a time when that person is busy. Question: do you expect that person to put away his work or her work in order to attend to you? No, not at all. He will respect bread and butter. And then after both of you have eaten your food, then the person will say, now can we discuss? So let us look at what time are we approaching this person and where are we going to discuss this matter from? All these things, they count. Sometimes it is not deliberate. It is the nature of work that person does. Understand the nature of work that person. Sometimes that person is a nurse or is a police officer. They stand for long hours and you want them to discuss whatever it is. No, allow them to rest, and then from there, on a day when they are less busy, you can talk to them. Number two, I think there are some people that want to postpone discussions because they are guilt. They are guilt. They don't want to be found guilt or wrong. So it's a deliberate way of avoiding to discuss the matter. They will be embarrassed. So what do? Is to adjourn the matter or to postpone the matter or to defer the matter to another date, which is not right. So there should not be any matter that we should be scared to discuss. All matters can be discussed and solutions can be found. There's no matter that is the difficulty that cannot be sorted out.
Thank you so much, Evangelist. We have one of our colleagues who have joined us who would love to give you the last question. Afterwards, we wind up. May we have our guest come through?
She's welcome.
Okay. Okay, it seems our guest is gone.
Oh, sorry, you've lost her. I'm sure it's a her. Thank you so much, Evangelist. And I'm going to give each one a minute, and I'll give Evangelist 1.5 minutes to summarize. I'll start with Lawrence. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for that. Today's program has focused a lot. We are focused on communication actually, and its importance in marriages and relationships. In fact, I believe every relationship to be successful, effective communication is very vital in it. Now, one thing that the evangelist I've learned from the evangelist today is there is verbal communication and non-verbal communication. And of the non-verbal communication now, I think on particular interest is when you mentioned the tone of the voice, Now, I would have loved you actually to expand that a little bit more on that one, Evangelist, before we wind up. But nevertheless, I think I've learned quite a lot, and this has been an awesome program actually, something that I will treasure, and I've learned a lot, taken a lot of notes, and thank you so much for the evening.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Over to you, CJ.
Well, today's program has been great. I've also learned a lot, and actually, you know, with relationships, it's not just between husband and wife, but everywhere you go, you need to have a healthy relationship. At church, at work, communication is key in all that. So where there's communication breakdown, you start being suspicious. No, start even to far wrong. So I've learned a lot that I really need to pay attention, not to be fast kukamba, but converses, so that even when I'm communicating as well, I'm able to communicate the correct things. Otherwise, I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CJ. May we have Nelly if she's available, please? Please, Nelly, you're welcome.
Oh, thank you for the warm welcome. Although I delayed to come, with what I've heard so far, I've learned a lot. Communication is a key. It's not only within the relationships or maybe in marriages, even in friendship, it also works as well, very much. So I feel if you communicate, it's a very easy way for you to have a common ground, and then when the conflicts are minimized a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate your input, Nelly. Over to you, Evangelist. 1.5 minutes.
Thank you.
I just want to appreciate Nelly for what she has said. It's very, very true. But I just want to conclude by saying, young people, old people, husband and wife, boy and girl in that relationship that you have, if you are not communicating and communicating effectively, then you will not prosper. You will not improve. You will not move. You will not grow. You will not be happy. And in the end, your marriage will be starved of oxygen, starved of blood, starved of life. And in the end, your marriage will die. So the best thing to do is to choose to be effective in your communication. I want to talk about the non-verbal. For example, you are always going to your mother, and then your husband says, ask you a question. Are you going to your mother, or you go to your husband again and ask him, even this weekend, I want to go to my mother. Then your husband says, okay, you can go. Now, that voice, that tone does not mean that I agree with you. I have not agreed with you. I have not even given you permission to go. What I'm saying here is that you don't go, or it is too much. Don't go. But a foolish person who does not understand non-verbal will say, "Banani vomeresa." He allowed me. He even said you can go. That's why I left. The issue is that the gentleman did not allow you. That's how I want to end. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, viewers, for being with us in the studio. It's me, Himba Malambo. I was with a very fantastic team from the Ubuntu channel. There was CJ, I was with Lawrence, who have been a blessing and very fantastic. Not forgetting our ever-loving, fantastic parent, our guardian, our counselor, Evangelist Shaabula. Viewers, thank you so much once again for being with us. Don't forget to make a date with us next Thursday. This has been Himba, your guest, your host on Nsaka. See you next week. Bye-bye.